Greetings friendos and welcome back to the Ox Lair. For today's particular video, I'll admit I didn't really have a major theme in mind for these Wednesday videos. It's just kind of a whatever I can throw together sort of ordeal. So for this one, a little while ago, my friends and I went out thrift shopping and, well, yours ghoulie went a little spend happy and bought myself some interesting little baubles, shall we say. Some things I'm keeping for my personal collections, other things are going to be going up for sale online at some point. Regardless, today we're going to take a look at them. So with that said, there's going to be a quick camera shift, whatever you want to call it, and I'll start showing you the things. So here we go. Alright, to start things off, I'll let you all know right away, the majority of the stuff that we picked up, or at least a portion of the stuff we picked up, it's not really going to tie into the whole, spooky season thing, but trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be pleasantly surprised at what we managed to acquire. This bag right here is filled with stuffed animals, the majority of which are going to be going up for sale online. I'm going to try and get through these pretty quick because I don't want this video to be like an hour long of me going, here's this thing, here's this thing, here's this thing, and this thing was made in this year, and it's worth a blah amount of dollars. So, with that said, let's just start off with this. Here we have a Disney Store exclusive Bing Bong from the Disney film Inside Out. Now, as I said, it is a Disney Store exclusive. You can probably just make out on his foot there that circle with the Disney logo. Now this, in and of itself, is not really all that great and amazing, but there's one key feature about this thing that I wasn't aware of until I started doing research online, is that the Disney Store, for whatever reason, decided to make this plush smell like cotton candy. And I will tell you right now, it still, honest to God, smells like cotton candy. It's not a bad aroma. Next, another item from the list, from the bag, we have this vintage Ringling Bros Bonneman and Bailey Circus horse thing. I'm not sure exactly when it was made, but it's got posable legs with the wires inside, so you can make it do all kinds of weird things. And I think the neck, yes, the neck as well. So you can make him look like he's dead or something. Let's take a look at his tag. Can we find a year on this thing? 1997. I was 8 years old when this particular plush was produced by the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. Which I believe at this point, that's defunct now, isn't it? Like during COVID or some such, they shut it down and it's just not come back since. But regardless, there's that. I think it just looks really interesting and unique. Now moving on from that, here we have some more Disney Store exclusives, I think. This Minnie Mouse here, let me check. Oh, this one's supposedly from the Disney parks. Authentic original Disney Parks plush for the Believe in Magic 2013 season. So I'm going to guess she's from 2013, and she's really sparkly and she wears pink. Next in the bag we have yet another Minnie Mouse plush. This one is a TY, as evidenced by the tag right there in her ear. And unfortunately, as you can see, this particular Goodwill, well, you might not be able to see, the yellow tag there is literally stapled into her bow. I'm going to have to get a staple remover and hope for the best on that one. But considering that she is a TY Sparkle beanie from a few years ago, I can't say exactly when, because it doesn't say on the tag. Oh, wait, yes it does. 2014. Considering she's 8 years old, she's in really good shape, all things considered. It's another one that's going to be going in the for sale pile. All of these are going to be up for sale at some point. And here we have the oldest, in my opinion, the oldest of these Minnie Mouse plushes. she just has that vintage look to her, you know? Because, I mean, compare this to this. This one definitely looks older. And she does still have a tag on her. She is from the Disneyland Walt Disney World theme park. And it does not say when she was produced. Regardless, the plush herself, plus the way the tag is labeled, just feels vintage. I want to say she's potentially from the 80s, maybe the early 90s. I saved what I believe to be the best for last, aside from Bing Bong there. They also had a Kohl's exclusive Stitch plush. Now, again, like the others, I don't know too much about this one. Let's see, is there any date on you? Not on your tush tag, and that's actually what they call them. The tags on the rear ends are called tush tags. Little insider information for you all. And the ear tag does not seem to have a year on it. But originally, someone paid $9.99 for this, and I believe all of these were like $3 a piece at this particular Goodwill. That's it for the first parcel. Well, technically there's a couple more plushes. I'll just bring them up now. We also picked up, for when the Christmas season comes around and we start putting stuff out for sale around then, this little, what was your name? Baby Bop. This little Baby Bop plushie that's just covered in hairs. I don't know where these came from. But she's got a little Christmas scarf, and I think she's supposed to be an ornament. I could be wrong on that. But she is from, I believe, 1999. I thought she was from 1997. Then we got this 1980s Count Pumpkin plush, which I think I'm going to be keeping for myself, because that is just too cool. He is from Playful Plush, and he is from 1988. Then there's a couple more. Trust me, folks, we're getting to the good stuff. Just give me a moment. This one I'm going to talk about a little bit here, because I think I might hold on to this one at least until the Oxmas season, so I can talk about him. I picked up these next two plushes at two different stores, but they're going to be hopefully sold together. Both, I believe, are from 1999. We have a Jemmy singing Frosty the Snowman, and we have a Stuffins, I don't know what the cop's name, but you know, the Unto the Traffic Cop, that guy. And I don't think this is going to get copyright claimed, but we'll see what happens. When you push his hand, and then to shut him up, you push the button a second time. Next, we're moving on to some more decorations. And my sincerest apologies to anyone whom I might have offended by playing Christmas tunes before it's even November. Okay, getting back to the decoration side of things. Oh, I forgot we had this. We picked up some decorations for our front yard. But we bought ourselves, this did actually come from the thrift store, but it's a New Goods, a Happy Halloween banner with these nice little spiders on the back. Picked that bad boy up for $1. And then over here behind the camera are a few of the other things that I picked up. Got a couple of these, I'm assuming they're vintage. They're like paper lanterns, only that you don't actually put a candle in them, they just hang up. I put these strings, I put strings on the both of them. These were actually hanging up until yesterday. We had a major windstorm that blew both of these things down off of the front awning where we had them up. Now, they both had a fishing line string like this one, but somehow the string got snapped on this one, and to be honest, we're lucky to still have the second one. This first one was still in the front yard. It took us 2 days to find this one, and it was halfway across the backyard. But I picked those up, and I mean, just look at that. You got the witches flying on their broomsticks, you got the town below with all the orange windows, got the little black cat on the witch's broom. That is just a very neat piece. And these ones we're holding on to. This next piece we're still on the fence about, because it looks really nice, and it's a functional piece, but we haven't done any research to see if it's actually worth reselling. Well, we got this light-up black cat with the jack-o'-lantern. Now, the interesting thing about this, I don't know how well y'all will be able to see it, but there's an orange light bulb inside there. But check that action out. Isn't that a slice of something wonderful? Oh, I just noticed something. The pumpkin has a bit of a chip right here in its stem. Let me just get it in front of the light again. Right there. Someone colored in with a marker. That doesn't matter to me too much. And so you're all aware, we didn't get this all from one single Goodwill. No. We shopped around. We got all the good stuff. So another thing we picked up, and this one is almost exclusively for sale, at least it's going to be, is we picked up two of these. They're what's called plastic popcorn decorations. And that's because if you look closely, you'll notice that Santa here is made up of all these different individual little pieces of plastic that are kind of scratchy. Unfortunately, the big guy here has got a little bit of damage to him. His arm is a little floppy. Runners on his sled are a little loose. But regardless, the price we paid for these compared to what they're going for online was a good deal. I'm going to try and get through these pretty quick because I don't want this video to be like an hour long of me going, here's this thing, here's this thing, here's this thing, and this thing was made in this year, and it's worth blah amount of dollars. But we got two of those, like I was saying. The other one is in this bag over here. We got an Easter duck. At least I think it's supposed to be Easter. It's hard to tell with the funny hat on it. Could be a winter duck. This one is in far better condition. It's less floppy and more intact than the Santa's. And then, as stated previously, we also bought a second one of those popcorn Santa Clauses, which it looks like this one also has a little bit of an issue with the hand, so we're just going to leave him in the bag. Underneath Mr. Claus here are the next couple of items that we picked up. So one of the first things we picked up at this particular Goodwill was a copy of the Are You Afraid of the Dark board game. The reason why we picked this up is the fact that, well, it's missing most of the pieces, but that's not why we picked it up. I already had a copy of this. I was supposed to be doing a review of it this month, and I may still do that. Who knows at this point. But the box on the one I currently have, this is actually the box that came in, and you'll notice how squished and just not nice looking it is. Like, we've got corners that were like sat on by someone at some point. There's water damage and all kinds of just creases and not looking very good. So what I did was I took the two copies, this one which had a couple of the original pieces, the game board and some other things, and I just kind of swapped out the best parts of both and made one near complete game. The only thing the one I have upstairs is missing is one sticker that goes on the six-sided die that's supposed to go with it. Otherwise, that one is now 100%, well, 99% complete. So there's that. The Are You Afraid of the Dark game from 1996, was it? 1995. I was 6 years old when that was on store shelves. Then I bought this puzzle, but there's a bit of a story to go with that, so we'll save that for a moment. And I picked up this model kit for the Cartoon Network number 29 Wacky Racing Monte Carlo. Now, this right here is from 1996, and this was an officially licensed piece of merchandise for NASCAR, I believe it was, from Monogram. And well, it's nothing really too big, bad, and important to talk about with this one. It's got the original receipt from when someone purchased this back in the day, and and it looks like it's never been put together. Like, if I'm not mistaken, the majority of the parts are still in the original shrink wrap. It comes with the original stickers, and behind them is that receipt that I was mentioning a moment ago. Then we have the instructions and a little bit of, fluff talking about the vehicle itself. And then all the little fiddly bits still in the box, never been punched, never been removed. So I just thought that was really neat. This is another one that's going to be going in the for sale pile at some point. And then, when it comes to this puzzle here, there's a little bit of a funny story with this. You see, well, take a look at this puzzle. You can probably kind of guess what that is. This is a puzzle based on the 1980s television series DuckTales. And, well, that's what it's supposed to be. That's what the box says this puzzle is. But when yours Ghoulie got this home and decided to put it together to make sure it had all the pieces, well, I'm not going to bother trying to put the pieces together. I know what I'll do. When I put this together, I took a photograph. So, editing me, throw in the photograph right here. Yep, as you can see, the puzzle is incomplete. But that's not the real kicker, although that does suck. It's the real Ghostbusters puzzle in the box for a friggin' DuckTales puzzle. Like, just finding the DuckTales puzzle alone, because you don't really find these vintage, 1980s puzzles anymore. That I was like, yeah, it's DuckTales, but it's from the 80s. It'll be fine, it'll be a nice cool piece to have. And then I find the other puzzles in this box, and I was just like, okay, why? But at the same time, I'm just happy I own this. The time has come to show off the best parts of what it was that we got during that little shopping spree. Because you see, at the first Goodwill we went to, it was actually the one where we found those paper lantern things over there. This is where we found some gold. Oh, actually, right before we get to those, one more random thing that I picked up. A Here Comes Garfield comic strip book. And the reason why it's called Here Comes Garfield is because this... Well, here, I'll just read the back. Here Comes Garfield, starring America's favorite cat, his canine companion Odie, and the mean neighbor who gets them into big trouble and an even bigger adventure. After sweeping the country in over 1,000 newspapers and 5 incredible bestsellers, Garfield on TV, now the funniest, grouchiest, laziest cat of all time, in his first full-length, full-color musical special. So yes, this is based off of a TV special from, I want to say 1985? 1982. It's older than I thought. It's 82, 92, 2002, 2012. This book is 40 years old, and it still looks fantastic. Now that I got that out of the way, now we get into the, shall we say, the best of the best offerings that we found that particular day. At this particular Goodwill, like I said, it was the first one we went to. Quickly make sure there's no spiders on this thing, because I don't want to go getting myself bit by any little buggers. But at the first Goodwill we went to, they had a selection of costumes. You can probably guess where this is going with that string of words. A little box of costumes and costume accessories and such that were just kind of there for everyone to look through. And in that box of costumes, I found a bunch, and I mean, whoa, a bunch of old Halloween masks. Now, here's the kicker. These were in the box, and the box was labeled like everything $5 or some such. But I didn't realize until I got these home, these were all individually priced separately. So these were supposed to be sold for different amounts than I actually paid. And I actually do have the price stickers from inside each mask to prove it. Like I said, these masks that I'm going to show you were in a box labeled $5. One of them was supposed to be $10, one of them was supposed to be $3, one was supposed to be $8, there was another that was supposed to be $10, and then one was supposed to be $12. But beyond that, let's actually get into looking at the masks themselves, because I'm quite impressed with what I found. So, to start it off, we have a 1980s Alf mask. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, Alf? What's an Alf? And if you're asking yourself those questions, well then, you're very young. But he was a wisecracking alien from the planet Melmac, and he had his own TV show back in the 80s. He also had his own cartoon show, and he made a guest appearance in the, I want to say, yes, the animated collaboration, the anti-drug PSA cartoon, Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue. Interestingly, he was in that movie along with Garfield, if you can believe that, and Alvin and the Chipmunks, and a couple others. Oh, and also Slimer from the real Ghostbusters, bringing that into the fold, Huey, Dewey, and Louie from DuckTales. There were so many cartoons all thrown together, and a lot of them you've probably never even heard of. But, yes, I picked that guy up for $5, and he is in fantastic condition. All the paint is still there, all the fur is still nice and fluffy, and it isn't like all matted down. That was a fantastic find for $5. Just go ahead and put him there. And then we have some more random, well, basically all the rest of these are kind of random except for one that I've been trying to replace for a good long time. But we'll get to that when we get to that. This one's kind of gruesome, folks, so be forewarned. It's a vintage rubber mask of a person with a knife slicing their popped out eyeball in half. With rooted hair. And of course, the blood and the gore. Not bad for a $5 score. I made it rhyme, but I won't do it all the time, because that gets tedious. But yes, I'm not sure what year that came out, because there's no tags, but I'm thinking it was late 80s, early 90s, or it could even be late 90s, early 2000s. Like I said, there's no tag anywhere, there's no stamp on it that I can see. I just thought it was a really cool looking mask, and so I snatched it up and threw it in the cart for $5. Alright, and we've only got a couple more masks, so I'm going to try and make this good. Next we have this mask, which is from 1999, 2009, 2019, so that one's over 20 years old, and it's supposed to be a gargoyle, I think. At least that's what I found when looking for this online. I can't find the one with the knife through the eye, but I found Alf, obviously, and I found this one. This one I found by accident. But regardless, it's got some weird ears that are just kind of hidden by the hair. And it looks to me more like a hag than a, shall we say, gargoyle, like it's supposed to be. But again, for $5, you can't go wrong with on that for $5. Okay, no, that it says 2001 down here on this stamp on the chin, but the tag inside the head says 1999. I'm confused, folks, but we're going to say it's from 2001 then. Alright, 2 more masks left in the box. This next one I just think is really cool. Trying to be careful in case any creepy crawlies decided to make their homes in these while they were down here in the basement. We have a werewolf. It's very fuzzy, very hairy, and very cool. On this one I don't think there was a tag on it, but there is a stamp on the chin that says Made in China. Again, he's a very cool looking werewolf. And, well, I just think he's neat. Again, with these masks, I want to say that I'm going to sell them, but a part of me feels that they're going to wind up in my collection up in the Oxleymations, our normal room. But lastly, in this box, something I'm not going to show you just yet because I have a little bit of a story for it. When I was growing up, back way, way, way back, when I was just a little ghoul going to school in the 1990s, my brother, the goofball that he is, had a certain Halloween mask. Now, this mask was the coolest thing I had ever seen up to this point. It was plastic, it had like this nice hood on the back of it, it was a skull, and well, when I was growing up, I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And well, as things go, we had to move around a fair bit when I was growing up, and we lost a fair amount of stuff during the moves. You know, stuff getting left in storage units, the storage units not getting paid for, and those going away, stuff just being left behind at the house that you were living in, stuff like that. But that mask managed to stay with us for most of my life. Made it all the way up into the early 2000s, I'm going to say. We still had that thing. And then just one day, it disappeared. I have no earthly idea where it went. And I just really, really loved that mask. I think I have a photograph of myself wearing it. If I can find it, I'll throw it up on the screen here. But that was the original of this that I had. And I had been trying for years, thrift shopping, trying to find that mask again, because I didn't want to pay the prices they want for this online. It's not the most expensive mask, don't get me wrong, but it's more fun to actually find these things out in the wild, not like hop online where you can just type in a few keywords in most cases, unlike that one mask with a knife. Then you can just hop online and go dip to dip. Oh, there it is for 20 bucks. Buy it now and it ships to your door in like a week. I find it more enjoyable to actually go out to the store, not knowing anything is there, and then finding that thing that you've been looking for. Kind of like with the Are You Afraid of the Dark game down there. I've been wanting to get one of those for a long time, and then I settled on buying one off of Facebook Marketplace, which is how I got the first one I have upstairs. And then going into the Goodwill that particular day and finding this one, which granted, like I said, most of the pieces were missing, but it had a better box, it had better pieces, yada yada. But walking into that Goodwill, and this was before I even noticed the $5 box of masks on the floor below this. This was the first thing that I saw when I rounded that corner, and I about soiled myself. I was just like, no. Behold, ladies and gentlemen, this vintage, I want to say either 80s or 90s, glow-in-the-dark skull mask with lenticular glowing skulls in the eyes. Don't know how well that'll read on camera, you can kind of see it there. Now, the one that we had when I was growing up, let me fold over the hood so you can see. Inside there, you may notice that there's an orange sponge right up there in the forehead area. The one we had over the years, the sponge had either worn away or someone ripped it out of there, so you were left with like this jagged, nasty bit of plastic that would like scratch your forehead if you like moved your eyebrows too much while you were trick-or-treating or wearing the thing. That is one thing that I'm absolutely floored by with this one, is it still has that foam piece in it. So if I were to put this on, which, you know what, for my sake, for just the nostalgia of it, I'm going to put this bad boy on for a moment. Glasses off. Where'd everybody go? And another amazing thing is the elastic band in the back of the mask. Masks, stop falling. Get back up. Seriously, I put my top hat on that little stack of masks right here and the whole stack tried to fall over on me. But the mask, the original one of these that we had, the elastic strap was completely dead. Like, it had no elasticity left. But as you can see, this one still does. This is going to be the first time that I've put this thing on. So hopefully I don't ruin that elastic in this, because I have a fairly large head, unfortunately. Actually, before I put it on, one more check for arachnids and bugs, because I don't want anything getting in my hair. As little hair as I have presently, I don't want anything getting into it. Alright, here we go. Ah, just like old times. The lenticular eyes are already fogging up as well, just like they used to back in the old days. Alright, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and put my glasses on so I can actually kind of see, sort of, and put my hat back on. It's going to be a fantastic Oktoberfest, if it hasn't been already. Hopefully your Oktoberfest, your Halloween, your festivities are going as well as mine seem to be this year. On that note, ladies, gentlemen, boys, ghouls, and all other configurations of being, thank you all so very much for watching. I do truly and greatly appreciate it, and each and every single one of you. Let me pull this down so I can quit talking through the upper lip and talk through the teeth. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. And what do you call a fat pumpkin? Give up? A plumpkin. Later.